Greetings and salutations, Focus Up family. Welcome to the August 22 installment of the Focus Up Show. We thank you for tuning in with us live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on YouTube and various other platforms, or catching up with us on replay. And we ask that you click that like, that subscribe, that bell, and share to support and maintain your weekly Focus Up fix. I am Mr. Nice Guy, nice as in the word Saint spelled backwards. And today, my co-hosts are Brother Walk, host of Sex Talk with Walk, Thursday at 9 p.m. and co-host of Street Focus on Sundays at 6. We got Student X, star of Mutant Politics, on Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. We got, and also co-contributor to Objective Deconstructions. We got some echo going on over there. Objective Deconstructions also at the same time. No Mutant Politics or Objective Deconstruction today. We got Mr. Infamous El Pooh, star of Spin That Back on Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. No Spin That Back today. We are missing Brother Afro Agnostics, star of those social media videos and co-star of Objective Deconstruction. And we got the boss man, Mr. Floyd X, co-star of Street Focus on Sundays at 6 p.m. So no First Lady J, no AB, but let's what's going on with you, Brother Walk?
I'm out here in the Mojave Desert. You see it. Rattlesnake hunting with some people. Now I just wanted to get a fly little location on my way to somewhere. About to do some fly shit. I can't tell nobody what I'm doing, but I'm out here. I said let me stop by these turbines, these wind turbines out here in Mojave Desert.
You see the dead birds? Word to Trump.
What is that?
Salute to Brother JC. Trump always talks about if you go to the bottom of a turbine, you're going to see a whole bunch of dead birds and stuff like that. So shout out Big Cuz as well. Thank you for tapping in. Infamous, not Infamous El Pooh. Student Soldier X. How you doing today, sir?
My brothers, I'm doing great. How's the family?
Chilling.
Well, you got some great topics, brothers. I'm excited about it. You know, I'm ready to get to them.
Hey, Student X, every time I see you, I feel so unprepared, man. I'm like, I got to get there, brother. You look like you ready for whatever. Salute.
Appreciate you, brother.
Brother Infamous El Pooh, what's going on with you?
Well, you know, I'm just blessed and happy to be here once again, and I'm ready to get it going. So let's go.
All right. Boss man. What it do?
What's up?
All right, we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's get to the get. First thing
Hey,
up.
hey, El Pooh, I think you got your background kind of fucked up back there. Your background. You should fix it.
God damn.
Gang, nighty gang.
All right, so first, RIP to Curt TT Bedeau from Full Force. Now, you know, he was a background singer, I believe a keyboardist, bass player. You know, he wasn't part of the three that were in House Party and stuff like that, but he was, you know, one of the OGs of the group that was, you know, a big player or a producer for Lisa, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, Lisa.
You
so,
sure that's not him? I thought that was him right here.
You feel it? No. You really feel it? You know what he means, you really feel it? What does he mean? Tell these two motherfuckers what time it is. It's time to kick their fucking ass.
Like you sound like other people saying all black people look alike. Now there is some big muscular fools that kind of blend together, but they are family. But nah, he's not one of the trio. But suffice it to say,
so why are we talking about him?
Well,
Sorry.
He's still part of.
Apologies, but
he's still part of Fast. He's still an OG member of
Full Force is a great group, dude. They was a historical group.
Legendary group. You're talking about, first of all, Roxanne, you know, UTFO. You're talking about, they produced James Brown. So, you know what I'm saying? So, salute to Full Force. You know, when one of the force falls out, we're going to give a salute to them. So, that having been said, RIP also to Brother Michael Wright. You know, as I thought in the house, in whatchamacallit, we both pressing it. So, I thought his character's name was Eddie Kane Jr. It turns out his name is Eddie King Jr. But this was one of the greatest characters in cinema. As a great movie, you know, he played the hell out of that role. Salute to Robert Townsend for even coming up with it. But you know, it's my condolences to his family. You know, he was a great actor.
Where's his picture? Wasn't he also?
He
What
right
else
here.
he was at?
Very appropriate. Very appropriate. Hopefully we don't get flagged for that.
Salute to Michael Wright, man. It was a great
salute to him. But hey, real quick, I mean, we were about full force real fast. I mean, you know, I don't think a lot of the listeners realize just how considerably more important to hip hop and R&B history, you know, that full force is. You know, and so, you know, that brother, you know, passing, you know, is definitely a tremendous loss, but it gives the opportunity to definitely just reintroduce people to full force. So just take a look at them in your leisure and just look at the influence from all the people that they played a role in, from even people like Britney Spears and NSYNC, all the way to Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj to Selena. You know, it's all across the board. So just RIP to, of course, you know, Mr. Wright. And then RIT to, you know, Curt TT.
Put some respect on him.
Yeah, one more thing I want to say.
And they don't put no respect on him. It's like, no, who was he? That's what I'm saying. Y'all didn't even show a picture. If you're going to do it correctly. You talking about full force, we think of the three guys. Okay? Now let's get back to Michael Wright. He had that movie.
Wait, Elpo was about to say something.
Elpo was about to speak on it real quick. Let Elpo speak on it.
Since we mashing topics.
All I wanted to say was it wouldn't be no Lisa without full force. So rest in peace.
That's up. There you go. All right. So now go ahead. What did you have to say about Michael Wright, Mr. Walt?
Michael Wright was also in one of my favorite movies, Sugar Hill. I got the flavor that you savor, neighbor.
Yeah.
What's Sugar Hill? Is that's the
Sugar
movie?
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
This one, right?
This is Harlem, motherfucker. The only motherfucking piece they understand up here is 9 motherfucking millimeter. This is the flavor that they savor up here, neighbor.
Looking back over the years, I guess I shedded some tears. I told myself time and time again, this time you're gonna win. But another fight and things ain't right. I'm losing again. Boom, boom. Takes a fool to lose twice and start all over again. Think I better let it go.
Ouch.
Damn, you remind me so much of my homeboy Duke. What's up, Duke?
If y'all saw that movie, y'all know what happens when he said, I think I better let it go. But I didn't
exactly. I thought that ouch.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies too. Sugar Hill, I love that movie. I was just acting like I didn't know what y'all was talking about.
And I want to say rest in peace to Hayden Panettiere.
I had to date that movie and got laid that night too. In Columbus, Ohio.
So rest in peace to Hayden.
Side note.
Rest in peace to Hayden Panettiere. This sister was in Heroes. She was also in the TV show Nashville, but she was one of the people that was really exposing like the dirty stuff behind Hollywood and stuff like that. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories that, you know, she might have got bumped off because she was basically put names out there, and she was actually linked to, like, you know, potentially the whole Puff Diddy situation. But you know, she ended up so far it seems like it was an overdose, and it seems like she was with a man who was like constantly like domestically abusing her, and that's what caused her to be estranged with her parents. And it's like you see her in 2019, she was talking about, I'm gonna spend my life to making sure that he can't hurt nobody else and all this other stuff. But then she's back with him. So it's a testament to that sort of like that battered woman syndrome, that it's just not so easy just to step away. But, you know, you really need to figure it out, because he seems like a pretty bad influence. So, you know, rest in peace to her. Condolences to her family.
Real quick on this is that, you know, first of all, you know, I was a fan, and then, you know, you be killing me with the sister thing, be throwing me up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Human being is a sister.
The point is, I like her, right? You know, but people don't know that her career began as an infant. An infant. When I say infant, I'm talking about 8 months. she's been in the game from day one. She had no choice of this at all. Apologize for that. She had no choice of this at all, and the emerging picture now involves someone who began working essentially as a baby, became a valuable commercial property as a child, and then allegedly given mood-altering pills as a teenager, experienced sexual exploitation, developed serious substance abuse problems, suffered postpartum depression, and then a major women's brand abandoned her, when she publicly acknowledged that depression, and then later experienced domestic violence. My God, Hollywood failed her as well as her own parents, and loved ones. The game is cold-blooded. Let me tell you that. R.I.P. to Hayden.
Thank you very much. That was some great stuff. I couldn't find.
What was her race? What was her race again?
I mean, she's a white girl as far as I know.
Oh, I don't have. I have no comment. No comment.
All right, so let's talk about the Tupac murder trial. Let's get right into it.
Had this been 20 or 25 years ago, this would have been the trial of the century. But it's like 30 years that went by. He's been gone. Even his brother, Matula, I think that's his brother, Matula Shakur, was like, if whatever happens, happens. If he go to jail, he go to jail. That's not going to bring Tupac back. But go ahead, nice guy. What was you going to speak on this, say?
Oh, I mean, honestly, you can basically speak on it. I mean, to me, it's just been must-see TV. I mean, I've always known a lot of stuff that about these things, but I'm getting particulars from witnesses that I hadn't quite particularly heard from. I mean, when the dude explains the situation at the Lakeshore Mall, he's just saying it was a scuffle and the chain came off. Because I was hearing multiple stories. I was hearing they took the chain. I was hearing that they didn't really take the chain. So you just getting all these little extra sort of like details. The fact that they got the dude on the stand, and he's like, by the way, so you were like paid by this. You were paid to give up information by this. You were paid 4 times, and I'm like, they trying to get these dudes killed. I mean, it's just it's just a trip to hear all the behind the scenes stuff. So it's been musty. But go ahead, you got something to speak. I'm gonna give you first bite at the apple, Mr. Floyd X.
Well, I just want to play some of the clips. One of the most extreme testimonies was from our brother, Mr. Mob James. So let me play that one. I got 2 of them. Let me see. Let me play this one.
Such as me.
So you're telling us that people back home somehow had some type of information that said that guy, as a bunch of other people, were involved in what?
In the murder of Tupac.
Okay, but my question to you.
I want to tell you, stop.
Can you focus on me for a second, sir?
Yeah, I will.
And I apologize. Oh, answer my question.
I'm not answering nothing.
Brother said he ain't answering nothing. What you think about that, Mr. Walt? Did you watch the trial? Did you get any? Watch any of it?
Yeah, I'm watching this clown court bullshit. My James, somebody go sit his old ass down, put a diaper on him. I'm not trying to send you to jail, but I'm gonna send you to jail. Get his old goofy ass, and all this is just a clout chase. He got a podcast as well. And what the fuck you doing up there with a missing tooth, brother? Damn, the dentist is right over there. But now, wait, let's get to this trial. This trial is silly. Watch this. They're interviewing freaking groupies like, yeah, we saw him on the strip. Did anybody see Keefe D shoot this man? Did anybody see Keefe D with a gun? Did anybody see Keefe D in goddamn Las Vegas? Who was talking about that? If he gets convicted, this will be overturned in the appellate court because this is a shambles. They're interviewing everybody but who was there. They're going to interview me and Floyd X. Where was y'all at when Tupac died? We was in our apartment listening to the motherfucking Tupac and smoking weed. 1996.
Real quick, to your point, I think when you talk about as far as the gun, I think that's probably what they had Reggie Wright up there for. Let's hear his testimony real quick, a clip of his testimony.
I got something to say after this.
And then that's when I pulled my firearm towards him and begged with him, pleaded with him not to raise the gun. There was some security from the Nation of Islam there. They got in the middle of it, broke us up. The gentleman took off and ran towards the street. in the parking lot.
I'm sorry, who ran towards the street?
The gentleman with the gun and a couple of the people that was with him took off and ran.
Now, you said that Southside was providing that type of backup?
They were with them in entourage, yes, sir.
Do you recall whether Dwayne Davis was one of those people?
Believe he was. I know he was with them, but like I said, I don't believe he was the one with the gun.
That was about the Soul Trains Award, not the one where Biggie died, but that was before. That wasn't the.
I'm just saying, they was. My suspicion is that they was trying to place that he had a gun in his hand. That's why they asked him, and they wanted him to say like, yeah, he had a gun in his hand. That's my assumption.
Well, first of all, they do got the audio of the proctor, so they have Keefe D under oath, telling on himself, you know what I'm saying, as far as what his involvement was, and then they're establishing that he told people that weren't going to pay him money. He was telling people that acted on this to go shoot up people in Southside's neighborhood on this information. So that's the type of stuff that adds credibility to it. But as far as Suge Knight, he is on the list, so they could potentially get him in there. Now, what he's going to say, whatever, but he is a witness to what happened. But Keefe D is a witness, and they got witness testimony to someone who saw what happened. So I'm not saying he's going to get convicted because, a jury can come up with whatever decision they can come up with. But, I mean, like you said, that dude, Mob James is basically snitching without snitching. So you got something to say about this? Student, I'll come back to you, Walk. But Student X, you got something to say about this?
Or you can save me for last because I'm gonna drop the bomb on all of this at the end.
Drop it.
Let me go to Infamous LP.
The bomb is this is.
Hold on. Save it. Let's save it.
Yeah, Infamous LP. What you got to say about this?
I'm waiting for the bomb to drop.
He done got everybody worked up.
All right, wait. Walk. You got something to say before he drops the bomb,
bro?
All right, student next. Go ahead.
It's hot out here.
Look, the bomb is this is a huge ass distraction. This is a nothing about anything. It doesn't even matter at all. Look, everyone knows. I thought everyone knew that. Especially in New York and around this time, there was a rap COINTELPRO where these artists, especially Tupac and Notorious B.I.G., were subject to around-the-clock government law enforcement surveillance. Around this whole period, they had extensive surveillance. They knew all the people surrounding them at all times. There was alleged infiltration. That was done to the people who are around. All the hip hop organizations. Including Death Row, including Goody Mob, and the whole situation going back to your boy that's in jail right now. He was involved in this. They had the hip hop police that was set up that had maintained a specialized intelligence directed just straight to the hip hop artists in the industry. Again, this was around the clock, and there was a direct intervention and interaction with these organizations. It was law enforcement, in these various entities that did that orchestrated the whole assassination of both artists. They pitted West Coast versus East Coast. You remember at the time, they created this atmosphere to where at any time these artists, could be off. It was going to be sold up to just, street violence at the end of the day. Where in the meantime, two of the most influential, people in the Black community at that time, and maybe even the world were just taken off the planet in a blink of an eye at the height of their career. So again, this is a nothing to do about nothing. This is a distraction. If you really want to get to the truth, then you had to get to, the surveillance tapes, that these various agencies had on these two artists. And then you're going to get to the real truth and understand what happened. This was not just some street beef and feud and some random killing. This was a hit.
Damn.
Oh, thank you for your testimony, Mr. Student X. You can step down from the stand now. Thank you.
I don't buy none of that. I think it's way simpler than that. Yeah, bottom line is, go ahead, Walt.
No, I was about to say, Student X, where was you when Biggie got? Because they could have you up there. Was you listening to music or was you been on your militant shit? Because it still has nothing to do with the court, with the murder. The people they got up there have nothing to do with the murder. Some of the people was not even in Las Vegas. They understand what the fuck going on.
Right.
Hey, salute to La Brea Trucker for watching the show.
Wait. Was Keefy D involved in the murder?
No. You should have to show proof that he was even in Las Vegas.
That's a lie because in the meeting he said
what's the lie? Wait. This is what I want to say. You went to hearsay bullshit. Watch this. Watch this. They got Reggie Wright up there. Keefy D spent the week with his wife in Vegas. That's what Reggie Wright got a gripe about. Keefy D fucked his wife. Y'all didn't hear that part of the videotape. Now that could be hearsay too, just like what Reggie Wright saying. Bro, if that free Keefy D, goddammit, bro.
So just a recap of what happened. So Biggie's mother basically was going after the LAPD or whatever, saying that basically that the police were involved with the whatever reason, negligently involved in Biggie getting killed. So they launched a whole investigation in that. Somehow Keefy D got sucked in this, even though Keefy D was basically on the bad boy side. He really had no real exposure, as far as being linked to the Biggie death, because again, he was basically on the bad boy side. But he, in the midst of all that stuff, he goes, I tell you what, I got some juicy stuff you really want to know. You know what I'm saying? So he just offers this stuff up. So he's the one that put this all out there in the first place, at least put it out there on the plate. Now, he didn't have a lot of this information. You might want to mute Walk's mic. I think he's got a lot of wind going on. But the bottom line is, a whole lot of hot wind too. But still, the bottom line is that this dude has spoke on it. It came out of his mouth. This is what he's saying. So, we all said basically behind the scenes that we think that he was in the car. I don't think that he pulled the trigger. I definitely think he passed the gun. And again, I think it was justified. You go stomp this man out in Las Vegas. What you think is going to happen? All of this stuff was justified. It's terrible that what happened to Tupac. It's terrible what happened to all of these people. But even with Puffy, if Puffy was kicking around, throwing around, paying money for Tupac to die, to me, it was justified because they literally took one of his peoples, made him drink pee, all of this stuff just to get where his parents lived. They were talking about killing Puffy's parents. This was some real war type situation going on.
Allegedly.
Terribly. That's what they're saying. And if that's the case, it's justified.
All right.
Yeah. That was just a what if. You said all that to say.
That's what they said. That's what they said. That's what they said. That's what they said. We saw you saw him on. It's not a what if that Orlando Anderson got jumped on the what you would call it in Vegas. Was that what if? Was that what if that Orlando Anderson got jumped?
Stop asking stupid ass questions, my nigga. That's a stupid question.
It's not. It was a stupid thing for you to say. This is the information that's out there. The bottom line is, if all of this stuff.
Thank you, Captain.
So yeah, thank you. I'm the Lord.
Charlie Curt are more interested in this.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. You just frozen that.
Is Puffy on the list as a witness?
I don't know. It's very interesting to see. I mean, he probably shouldn't be, but
he should be.
Arguably, if well, that's what they said. They couldn't link it to him because of Zip, basically his cancer situation. So that was unfortunate. As far as I'm not saying it's unfortunate for me. It's unfortunate for their investigation. That's why they dropped all of this stuff and didn't, pursue anything further. But it seems like we've lost the brothers Johnson. Do you got something else to say, Mr. Floyd X? You want to move on to?
No, let's move on.
Let's speak on to Luigi Mangione. Well, I love it. He's like Walk is frozen. Nah, leave him up there. That's the best version of Walk. So Luigi Mangione pleads guilty. So he's got state charges and federal charges, and he pleaded guilty to federal charges of stalking that are somehow tied to murder. So he can still get like a life sentence from what he pleaded guilty to, but this basically stays the state charges. So I guess we're gonna see how this plays out, how he, what the charges, what the conviction is gonna be, and then from there, we'll see what's gonna be done on the state level. But this dude is a pure example of how some females ain't shit. This dude was pretty, and he just killed somebody in broad daylight. And all they can talk about is how pretty he is. So you talking about choosing bad people. It's the testament. Not all women. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You got something.
I'm interested in seeing the outcome of this case and see if they're gonna be nice to him or be lenient on him because he's white, even though he sniped that other guy in the back and just killed him and walked away and went to McDonald's or some shit. I want to see how they're gonna treat him and what's gonna happen in the outcome of this case.
Yeah, what's going on with you, brother Student X?
Yeah, you know, this whole situation right here is just interesting. You know what I mean? He just, he says I did it, you know what I mean, and I meant to do it, and it is what it is, So, I wish he would have. If he was gonna go out like this, I wish he would have did it with a more relevant target. You know what I mean? I'm not advocating killing anybody, but it's like, dude, this CEO dude, I don't know exactly. I forgot the full story of why he chose this gentleman, but my God, there's some bad people in the world, you know what I mean?
He stalked him. He sat there, he pretended to be an investor in the event that the guy was at to get him, lure him out. I don't know why he focused. He wanted the CEO.
Yeah, why him though? Well, why did he target this dude?
Because he was a CEO.
Well, no, he was a CEO of healthcare. He was basically a person that was denying people coverage and stuff like that. So he didn't just go blindly after this person. This was a person that I think.
But he had to be politically motivated, I would think. You know what I mean? Well,
like I said, he was the CEO of healthcare. So these insurance companies that basically deny people. So you got people that are like cancer, and they're like, "Oh, we're denying your coverage," so you end up dying. So this was that type of stuff.
Okay, well, yeah. Okay, well, that was probably super relevant to him. That he felt he needed to make a statement and bring attention to the matter. I don't know what his motive was, but at the end of the day, it's not what I would promote in terms of getting the best outcomes. With cold-blooded murder. So it is what it is, man.
Well, like you said, we're not endorsing that. You got something to say about this subject, Brother Walt?
Walt, are you
there? Infamous El Poo, you got something to say about this?
Not really. Let's just see what happens.
All right. So, Mr. Floyd X, you done with this topic as well?
Yeah, we can move on.
Do we have enough time to speak on to Stephen A. Smith? Or
let's go to the break real quick. Let's go to commercials. Where's the commercials at? Since we got the bread truck. East Coast to West Coast, West Coast to East Coast, North to South, South to North. You want something delivered? Holla at La Brea Trucking. Y'all didn't see the number at the end, but if you go to the older video, the number's there. I wish I had the number. I'm going to post the number. But call that brother La Brea Trucking if you need something delivered.
Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments, La Brea Trucking.
There you go. Put it in the comments, La Brea Trucking.
That's gobealive.org. Go get you some of that black honey. And if you want it in person, go to the Petty Vice in Venice or to the Afro City Marketplace at the Crenshaw Mall. I personally love the sage honey, so that's what I recommend. Shout out to Sister Nitra.
Score Bar and Lounge. Football is coming back. It's preseason, but go to the Score Bar and Lounge and watch you some preseason football. Y'all see El Poo? Y'all see El Poo? He football ready. He ready for some football. So go to the Score Bar and Lounge, 7123 Franklin Boulevard, Sacramento, California. Go check it out. A black-owned bar, good food. They got dollar wings. I forget what day, but they got dollar wings. You get a wing for $1. And you know the dollar make you holler. It's like the pie that gets you. What do you
Peace
say?
and blessings. For those of you who haven't come to 2251 Florin Road, Suite 111, and got your issue of the fatherless fava bean pie, you are missing out. These have just come out the oven and they're on their way to the shop right now. So come on through and get your issue of the world's greatest pie. The pie that literally makes you high. Peace and blessings.
Hey, I know Student X always asks the question, what does he mean? Hey, Student X, I eat one of them bean pies every week. That's why I got my shades on, because, it gets my eyes red every time I eat it.
I got one right here. It's so good it makes me cry.
Well, salute to brother Camille Muhammad Shabazz. Salute to that brother.
Hey, let brother walk in.
Oh, he there? All right.
There you go.
Can you hear us walk? Oh, this mug. He did that. Damn.
All right. Let's so we got echo and it's not even walking here. But so Stephen A. Smith, NABJ Thumbs Down Award.
Let me put the picture up first. Let me get to it. Where we at? Thumbs Down Award. Go ahead, speak on it, nice guy.
This is hilarious. So, this is the Black journalist, the National Association of Black Journalists. And, I love Stephen A. as a sports person. I mean, I think he's great at it. You know what I'm saying? But once he get into the politics, I think he's just tremendously uninformed and absolutely very insensitive to Black interests. So to me, I wholeheartedly support this thumbs down. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I hate to say it, but he's like a prime example of shut up and dribble. You know what I'm saying? You are great in your lane, stay in your lane because you're so bad outside of it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, and again, they did say that, look, this is not from a place of hate. We're not saying that this is we're not throwing you away. They're saying that this is a place of instruction, that we encourage you to do better. So they're not just, casting them aside or anything like that. So this is more of like a criticism than just basically an assault on Stephen A. Smith. But you know who he ran to, right? You know who he ran to dispute this.
Insanity Hannity. All right, so real quick, the NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists, they specified why they did. They said he says he continues to a repeat offender of disparaging remarks to Black women of prominence. They specifically pointed out Jasmine Crockett. He went on air and had something to say about her. Joy Reid, he went on air, had something to say about her. I believe Kamala Harris also, and there was one more that he had something disparaging to say about
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama, okay. So he went on air, and I have my personal issues with Stephen A. Smith. I do think he's a coon, but I do not think that they should have given him a thumbs down award. I understand the contradiction in that statement, but he is a coon to me. But they should not have done that to Stephen A. Smith because I believe that he's a respected journalist and he should be given that honor and respect because what he has done to the industry of journalism.
Because he ain't talking about Black men. But what you got to say about this, brother Walk? You there?
Walk, can you hear us?
All right, let's go to Student X.
I'm here.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Walk. Oh, he's playing.
Nah, I'm fucking. I'm fucking around with y'all. I just got in, and y'all coming in. I don't even know what y'all talking about. I'm just getting in.
Stephen A. Smith.
That's terrible podcasting.
Student X. What you got to say about this Stephen A. Smith thumbs down award?
Well, first of all, I have an article I shared. Go ahead and show that real quick for me if you don't mind. And What I have to say is that I don't agree at all that Stephen Smith is a coon, per se. I think that word is thrown around a lot. Racist is thrown around a lot, and when we really put it towards some scrutiny, then it doesn't stand the test. But what this is about, I feel like, is that straight black men are the white people of black people now. Straight up, if you're standing on certain principles, certain values, and promoting, accountability, things of this nature, then you're being put in the category, of that, of being not black, being ostracized, and that's what it is, then so be it. I think it's absolutely unfair, for him to be getting, this type of a focus, when I'm trying to find out what exactly is it that he did. I mean, I know what I'm looking at from the outside looking in, and I'm not part of their organization, but, Stephen A has spoke harshly about the Democrats, and being that 98% of black women, or 95+% of black women are voting, for Democrats every single election for years now, then that already is something that is considered an offense that is punishable by death, inside the black community. Of course, I'm being a little facetious, but I'm just saying, it's taken, it's not taken as a lightweight, situation, so not totally unfair, totally ridiculous. I'm waiting for the reasons why they decided to officially put him inside this category. Like, what are they citing? What exact events and positions has he taken, that would have him in that category for them?
Well, I'm not their lawyer. I'm sorry, real quick. I'm not their lawyer, but I know that they said, as far as Jasmine Crockett goes, he criticized Jasmine Crockett about how she speaks when she's in the Senate, but then they say that he has nothing to say about Trump. Every interview, every time he talks, he says some disrespectful shit, and Stephen A. Smith had nothing to say about it. But for Jasmine Crockett, he gonna give her all the smoke. You don't all that talk, get something done. Telling her to get something done. That was disrespectful. And then secondly, with Joy Reid, he tried to, when she got fired from MSNBC or turned off the ear, it's just your ratings. When in fact, according to the records, according to what she pulled up, the receipt she pulled, her ratings was higher than his. So she had good ratings for her time slot. They just felt it's time to move on and push away from the Democrat in the sense of Trump is back in power or whatever, and they moved on. The same way they are cleaning the house. You know what I'm saying? So those are two things that I've heard clearly that the reason they gave him a thumbs down, but I still disagree with it.
Okay, so
I rest my case. That's exactly what I said. I said it had to be politically motivated in his positions and whatnot in terms of where he's at. And I had heard him talk critically about Trump. I mean, hell, how can you not talk critically about Trump? In this hour, it's like maybe about 20% of the country that is all honky dory. With the way he's moving. Right now. So. But no, he's definitely spoken critical of him, and now he actually speaks on more topics because he realized, like we talked about before in this podcast world, in the contract negotiations, him creating a brand via social media platforms was going to be important for that negotiations, and he learned that from the white dude that's on ESPN now with the real popular show. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now, but anyway.
Okay, so receipts. Okay, defended Trump by comparing his prosecution to the racist prosecution of black historical figures. He said that racism is not as prevalent as many claim. He defended Jerry Jones after segregation photo resurfaced. He routinely attacked Kamala Harris while giving Trump way more grace during the election season. He attacked Cheryl Swoops, calling her take insane, while defending Caitlin Clark, criticizing Angel Reese's over her clothing, but praising Caitlin Clark's branding. Basically,
that's what I thought.
Defending ICE after the killing.
That make black women mad. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
This is the stuff that makes black people mad.
I understand
that you don't care black women. I understand you care about black women. How is this? This is a
Come
black
on,
talking point.
Democrat talking point.
Trump.
That's all I heard. Walk, speak on it. What you got to say about it, Mr. Walk?
I see. I disagree with my brother over there, Student X. Come on now, Stephen A. Smith been on the fine line of the coon train. See, he contorts. He contorts when to get comfortable for the scene. He scratch when it don't itch. He laugh when it ain't funny, and he dance when he don't like the music, bro. He been doing that his whole fucking career since he been in the limelight. Because I used to listen to Stephen A. Smith in 2012 when he was just on the radio, and I was like, this brother speaks very well. He's well documented on his coon shit. But a lot of shit that my brother Nice Guy just said is just really Democratic talking points, man. Stephen A. been walking the fine line on the coon train, bro. And then he tried to come back to the black side where the real niggas at. It just don't work. That's why I don't really fuck with him at all. Leave it at that.
Infamous Pooh, you got something to say about this?
Yeah, personally, I believe that everybody has an opinion, and opinions are like a-holes. Everybody has one, so I respect the man's opinion. I mean, it just is what it is. But he is a coon, and that's just what it is. But giving him a thumbs down award, don't mean anything. So it's irrelevant to me.
We did a whole podcast and put him on the cover with
Coon
Jason
Wars.
Wood. Yeah, Coon Wars. You know what I'm saying? You guys are upset with the thumbs down, but you okay just throwing out the. Let's talk about Young Thung. Let's just talk about Young Thung. Go ahead, you set the table on this.
You took a move on from me. Okay. All right, leave it alone. All right, so Young Thug, let me play the audio. And remember, he is sitting in front of a class. It looked like a class, just women. He looked like a young lady. A class. It looked like, but it might have been boys and girls. But I saw the video. I think it was men and women, but it's mainly young women. And this was his, what he had to say to these young people. Where's the video at? This is just an audio of it, but this is what he had to say.
So fame is really the most important. If you famous, you're almost as important as the richest person in the world. You got to keep up with it. You got to always make sure it leads you to the right room. You got to know how to move. You got to move totally different. So many things people don't know about fame. That's like very important. You got to know how to move. You got to know how to be, because you end up in like situations. I've ended up in.
So his statement was basically saying that the most important thing to do is be famous. Now, does anybody on this panel agree with that statement? Or would they tell young people to be famous? That's the most important thing to do.
Definition of a sellout.
It sounds terrible, isolated. But, if you are doing good things and famous, then it's great. It's, if you're spreading your brand. If you're doing positive, it's one of the best things you could do is to let everybody know who you are and what you're about. You know what I'm saying? So the problem just leaving it at famous and money and stuff like that. I mean, that's just some like kind of dumb capitalist type stuff. You know what I'm saying? And not that all capitalist things are wrong, but I'm just saying that, look, the most important thing is to get your shit together.
You said it. Nah. You said it, nice guy. Nah. Wait. I'm fucking with you, nice guy, on that one. Listen, why are we listening to Young Thug? He drinks syrup and lean.
Because they put him in front of children to talk.
Wait, let me. Can I fucking finish? Listen, he's a fucking idiot. Young Thug is no one to even. Who brought him there in front of children to say something?
No, sorry.
Keep going. We hear you, Walt.
Did I get a horn?
That wasn't a horn.
He should get a horn. He should get a horn.
Yeah.
There's your horn.
Who does that? Listen, Young Thug is a fucking lean head, coke sniffing, dumbass nigga in front of kids talking about, yeah, that's the way the promised land. And that percentage to become rich and famous is so fucking tiny. Are you out of your mind? So so whatever school that was, and why we even giving this any light of day is kind of silly. But I like his music. That's it.
Go ahead. Speak on it, student next.
Because baby, I'm a thug. You know what I mean? It reminded me. This whole section reminded me of a song. I'm just gonna sing like the chorus. It goes something like this. It go, fame, I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna learn how to fly high. I can feel it coming together. People will see me and cry. People, that was like the movie Fame, back in the day. But I mean, some people, that's their whole existence. That's what they seek, And I'm like, walk, bro. Who the hell brings Young Thug, to be to put in front of children? Oh, I know. Look. So I know this disqualifies both me and Walk from being able to get an NABJ thumbs up. You know what I mean? I understand that, but I'm willing to go ahead and take that. You know what I mean? I'm willing to take it. I'm not endorsing Young Thug coming in front of damn children, teaching them any goddamn thing. How about that?
Infamous Del Pooh?
It's 2026. And I'm still living in 1986, I guess, because in my day, a thug did not wear a dress. And a brother that wears a dress does not need to be at dress. I'm done with this.
Those was bars.
This is what I got for Young Thug.
Oh, that's down the toilet. Okay.
I like that. Okay. Infamous.
So it has been.
We need more of that toilet. We need more of that toilet. And we gonna talk about the game. Hint, hint. Go ahead, fellas.
You brought it up. Go ahead and speak. You want to speak about the game? Go ahead and speak about the game.
Okay, you put me okay. All right, so the game dropped a new album. I didn't know he was blooding like that at 44 years old. Come on, brother. 44 years old, you gang banged and blooded out like that. You wasn't doing that 20 years ago. Come on.
You didn't watch the verses? You don't watch the verses? Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, yeah, you watch the verses. You super blooded out.
Go away. Nice guy, go that way. Go that way. Yeah, the gang got a new album. He's super blooded out. And the verses was this year too. So he's super blooded out.
Exactly.
Right? So all of a sudden, and you wasn't doing that 20 years ago. Nobody wants to hear that, bro. To me, the album is he rap. The gang can rap, man. He's a good rapper, but the content is not there. My brother Floyd X, he said something like, so which one you like better, Pooh Shiesty or the game album, the new ones that just came out this year? Pooh Shiesty is not as good as the rapper, but you can feel that pain. You can feel that shit. That shit felt like goddamn death certificate.
You say he got better You say he got better content?
I didn't say nothing about content.
Well, that was a criticism
anybody listening? Is anybody listening?
It's not like you were making a criticism of game's content and then you brought up Shiesty.
You can feel when somebody just like, I'm going through the motions. I'm sipping lotion. Just because it rhyme don't mean that you feel it. You can feel Pooh Shiesty. The passion. Wait, let me quote a bar from Pooh Shiesty, who's not as good as a rapper as the game. He said, turn that radio down. I need to listen to the streets. That's deep. Because I used to roll with my nigga JC, and JC always playing that music loud. I know you listening, nigga. I know you watching, nigga. I be like, God damn, nigga, we can't even talk in the car. Yeah, so I seen a bitch. She had a fat ass. No, we need to listen to what's going on out here. So the game, it's time to just find new artists in Compton and do that and just fuck chicks, I guess. Whatever else you do.
Shit to do with the story I just told.
What you got to say about this infamous album?
All I can say is the game has always been overrated to me. I don't like him. I think he's trying to be too hard. He reminds me of Dr. Dre trying to be from NWA, coming from the Wrecking Crew, wearing lipstick and glitter and all that old stuff. I don't like Game, so I don't like Game. I'm just leaving it at that.
You know, one thing about the Game is I feel like he's like the Gooch of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's on record beating up a lot of people. So I mean, for that crowd, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely what's the basketball player that everybody's afraid of? The dude from the Knicks that got banned, Oakley. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, you know, if that's what he believes, that's what the fact that he's even more deep into it. I mean, whatever. That's not for me. That's not my culture to speak on. But at the end of the day, I do have respect for the Game. So I ain't shitting on him. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let me just
Anybody
say,
else got something?
I want to speak on it. Hey, salute to the Game. I like the album. I think he's one of the best, West Coast best rapper. You know, I just wish he would have stuck with something and helped build something. Like, he could have stuck with G-Unit, let that thing grow and bubble. Y'all could have been on the G-Unit tour 20 years later, because you see 50 Cent. 50 Cent, ain't nobody trying to hear 50 Cent rap today. But the Game still got something to say. I know J-Walk say he old and he out of there, but I still like the Game. He got at least 3 songs on there that I know that I really like. That's really like some bangers, in my opinion.
Give me a bar. Give me a bar. Give me a bar.
It just came out yesterday. I just listened to it. It just came out. So salute to the Game on this album. I love it. Documentary 3. It's a good album. It got some good songs. I ain't gonna say it's good.
Wait, hold on. One more thing. And he's still on that Dr. Dre don't fuck with you. Hint, nigga. Remember the documentary too? You mentioning Dr. Dre and all this shit. Bro, when was the last time you did a song with Dr. Dre? Oh, that's fucked up. That's it. Doc.
Exactly. So you got something to say about this before Student X, before we pivot on to the next one? Because I know you got something to say about the next one. I'll take that as a no. So let's go ahead and flip it to Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. There's been a little bit of an update. First of all, the judge has been removed.
He recused
himself. And we know that there was a deal made to not disclose some information about both parties, that both of them would seem kind of defamatory. One about Karmelo Anthony stalking his girlfriend, a picture of a knife, talking about he gonna stab somebody and lick the blade. Then you got Austin Metcalf with the violence and hating niggers and graffiti and stuff like that. So there's more stuff coming up. It doesn't probably really change the facts of what's going on, but we'll see how it gets processed. I like to start with Student X first, because he loves to jump on Karmelo Anthony. Go ahead, what you got to say, bro?
No, when you say love to jump on, other than
hold him accountable.
Pause.
Well, no, I look, anybody who does a wrong, especially murder someone in cold blood, then absolutely they should be held accountable, and that's what Karmelo did. This doesn't change anything. The basically what happened was this gentleman's quote unquote agreement, was something that both parties agreed to, but the fact that it was a so-called gentleman's agreement already told you that whoever didn't have things go their way, they were going to fall back, on trying to get all the information from both sides admitted, because you already lost, you got nothing to lose, and that's what's happening right here, is that, he's already lost, been sentenced to go to jail. And so now, hell, let's see if the racist behavior and graffiti, aggressive violent conduct from Metcalf, his history, will override the ex-girlfriend, the disturbing messages, and the potentially violent behavior, that was, allegedly in his history. I think it's a great idea for the simple fact that your whole first jury was all white, and so, I would argue that that's not a jury of your peers, in that type of situation in and of itself, so, I think they're doing the right thing, to try to see if they can, go ahead and get a retrial and try this over again. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I don't think there'll be a different outcome, but why not?
Brother Walk.
Oh, I totally disagree with that. With that last part, what you said, Mr. Student X. there will be a retrial. That young boy ain't gonna freaking die in prison, bro. That like they know it's a shamble because a lot of stuff is coming out about one of the twins. I don't even like saying his name, but come on, man, that was a little wild little boy. He was big as hell too. He was a bully and he was a racist. He was talking shit, hitting girls, beating up girls, black girls. It's all documented. But that stuff with that gentleman handshake bullshit was not allowed in court, bro. It's a lot of stuff there about the so-called victim. He was a bully, and he pressed people before about, like, get up out of here. He was a big-ass dude. He wasn't like my brother Floyd. Floyd was a big-ass boy in motherfucking high school, but Floyd used to defend me, goddammit. Like, it was big niggas that would fuck with me, and Floyd would fuck them up, nigga. He was, so that boy, I ain't gonna say he deserved it, but my frequency fucking up. My frequency fucking up.
Hey, because this is all I asked for. This is all I asked for because
nothing else. I agree with that. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, you got something to say about this, Mr. Floyd X?
Yeah, I agree with Big Cuz too.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see the sentence reduced because that's too much time they gave that young man, and he don't deserve that. I mean, I know he killed somebody. Yes, I get it, but he was young. It's like. That's like the max when you got all these other cases. What they say when a precedent is set, when somebody is
precedence.
Yeah, precedence was set. So
Earthquake. Hey, you beat me to a walk.
Let me fix my screen. Get your. Oh, no, I did it the wrong way. I did it backwards. Never mind. Jokes. I missed the joke. All right, but I want to see him get a lighter sentence and You on point, bro. He must be talking about Walk or one of y'all.
Maybe he's talking about Big Cuz.
Okay. But so I want to see it get a life sentence. That's it.
Infamous El Poo?
Hey, I just agree with everything that they just said right there. So there it is.
All right. So now we had talked about these flock cameras before, which are basically these cameras are set up everywhere that take pictures of people's license plates. And, some of these cops were using these in nefarious ways to track girlfriends and stuff like that. So, they had a hearing on flock cameras in San Diego, and they allowed some dude to show up in full Darth Vader costume to basically argue for flock cameras. He was saying they're necessary, needed to weed out the rebel scum. So honestly, it was hilarious that they did that, and it speaks to a real problem with that, because I was likening that to the technology in the Dark Knight, where it basically using everybody's cameras and stuff to spy on everybody. But I like the student X, who is a Star Wars aficionado. What's your take on this, brother?
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant for the fact that the gentleman who came out, who was actually in opposition, obviously, to the surveillance system, being in a full Darth Vader uniform, saying, he loves the surveillance system, right? But the thing is, the seriousness of this is that Americans did not vote for this shit, and if this was put up for the vote, it would be overwhelmingly turned down. But yet, the shadow government, has different names, right? Deep state, somehow, throughout the whole United States has, contracted with a private company to allow this technology to be distributed throughout the country. Now, and it's not up for debate, at the end of the day, there's some people in some communities that are coming out, but, we'll see how successful they are in this situation, because it appears that this is a national security priority, that's being deployed here. And it's really, obviously, there's some valuable, help and assistance that this type of system can provide, but that's not the problem. The problem is that, that there's a mass surveillance, and having people completely, being mass tracked without warrants. There's data sharing issues. There's misuse by, people who have this data. There's a different access to by the federal government, the retention periods, the tracking people who have committed no crime at all. People don't want to live underneath that, at all. So the fact that this has not been voted on should tell you all you need to know is that, they, being the government, is anticipating to where these cameras are going to be needed not just to detect crimes, but to control you.
That's some deep stuff. You kind of covered it. Does anybody else need to say? Can I move on to the next?
Yeah,
all right, let's pick. Oh, go ahead, brother Walk. You're muted, brother. Now I don't know if you're playing or for real.
We can't hear you. Can't hear you, Walk.
He talking about, but ain't saying nothing.
Soon the robots will take over the streets. Lockdown will follow. Straight and swerving.
Something to be said about that. Sorry about the technical difficulties, brother Walk. But let's go ahead and speak on. Okay, so these are sort of like topics that we hit on before with the whole Dr. Fauci situation. Well, it turns out one of his senior advisors pleads guilty for doing a whole bunch of shady stuff. He was basically saying, well, I don't want this to be part of the free information whatever act. So they basically Freedom of Information Act. So we're this information on the that I want to keep on a down low. I'll use your his individual emails and stuff like that. So which Fauci has definitely said was the wrong thing for that person to do. Which they don't have Fauci particularly guilty on this particular thing, but it just shows you that people that were involved with the government, involved with all this stuff, were doing nefarious things. So when we talk about conspiracies and stuff like that, conspiracies do actually happen, and clearly this dude and people like him conspired to withhold some information. Student X, I know you're chomping at the bit, brother. You have it.
I wouldn't say chomping at the bits, but this is it's not like the nail in the coffin, but it's something that many of us know. One of the main reasons why I believe Stephen A is getting this attention, from those that are controlled by the Zionists, which is the Democrat Party, Republican Party, and if you get that heavily into politics, that you're under their control. And Stephen A apologized for the fact that he was jamming up a lot of athletes about taking that damn jab. And now as more evidence has been coming out, someone who advocated taking the jab and was, to me, the biggest cooning he ever did was around this whole vaccination situation. That was the most cooning he ever did. And the fact that he backed off that and apologized, he was pro-vaccine left and right and was telling people they were stupid and dumb for not taking it. He was on one. And then and now he's backed up from that, apologized to Kyrie and a whole bunch of other athletes, including our boy Aaron Rodgers, apologized to him, and again, that was a nail in the coffin. But again, this right here, what dude was doing was he was subverting and invading Freedom of Information Act requests, federal record requirements. In other words, he was not giving the data and information to show the shenanigans behind this whole vaccination, and why you shouldn't have had taken that motherfucker. What I'm saying?
Actually, what he was doing was about his particular thing. It was of his advising. He wasn't the puppeteer. He wasn't, he was a part of it. But since we can hear you now, brother Walk, I don't know if you want to say what you want to say before, or at least you want to just
wait. No, let's piggyback off what you just said. That's what about Stephen A. Smith. Like that right there is the coon shit, right? That you just gonna say and do whatever they tell you to say, right? But you acting
First like of all, well, I don't think it was cool shit to trust the science. If the scientists are telling you this and you don't know any better, again, you're speaking on that. First of all, you
saying stuff like you acting like this is my thoughts though. That's what Stephen A. does, and then he hold on, wait. Let's get it clear. He went in on Kyrie. You know that. He did a lot.
He did it.
Grandstand shit. Soapbox. You know what I'm saying? Top of the mountain shit with Kyrie, bro.
Yeah, that's what he does with black. He has that black energy. I agree with you. He does that. He goes after black people energy. Like that. Don't go after. Yeah, he goes after black people like that. He don't go after white people like
black
that.
energy.
Oh, say that.
That's why he got that thumbs down. But thank you for proving my point. But go ahead. You got anything else to say?
That's all I gotta say. Stephen,
all right, give myself a horn. Anyway, so you got something to say about this infamous
pause.
All I got to say is I'm tired of hearing about Dr. Fauci.
Fauci.
Whatever. COVID.
Don't play that.
2020 elections and all this old stuff. All I wanted to see is these Epstein files. Where are the Epstein files? Are we ever going to get to the Epstein files? Mr. Floyd X, are we going to get to the Epstein files?
Hell no.
Exactly. One good thing that's going on. One good thing that's going on, and the boat is headed home. So it was ridiculous that they were out there that long. You know what I'm saying? And those people are headed home. So salute to those people that. Go ahead.
Salute to my fellow sailors, man. I wanted to speak on this last week, but I was under the weather last week. But I really appreciate the sailors out there, and I was disheartened by people who were saying, "Oh, they had this dude with no legs who was injured in war come on the air and disrespect these sailors, talking about you know what's hard not having legs." Some shit, he said, it pissed me off. He was sitting there trying to clown these sailors. Some sailors been out to sea for 200 and something days, 250 and something days, and you disrespect them like they crying like a bunch of little girls. Come on, man, you stuck on a boat, and because Donald Trump is scared to admit that he's losing this war and they can't get supply, the supply chain is broken because Iran broke that motherfucker. They moved you back, and so they're going into where they normally pull in the port to get supplies. They can't get it because it's gone. The base is gone. But nobody want to talk about that. They want to make it like the sailors are a bunch of crybabies when they sitting there missing their families almost a whole year away from their probably somebody had some brand new born babies while they was away, and they want to see their baby. They tired of being on the ship with a bunch of workers and bunch of people just every day jumping on the ships and jumping on planes or jumping to other boats trying to regulate shit. They get tired of that shit. Then you getting that shitty ass food because they can't get real food. They said one person was getting like a bowl of rice and a slab of meat or some shit, some crazy shit, rationing it out. And you can't say, oh yeah, it's wartime. If Donald Trump said it ain't no war, you dumbass. So it ain't no war. If they're not in a wartime. It's really a war, but he acting like it's not. So stop trying to make it like these sailors are some bunch of whinies. Salute to the U.S. Navy and the sailors. Salute to y'all forever, man. Fuck with these fools.
Brother Walk, our fellow Navy person, speak on.
I don't really disagree with nothing that Floyd X just said. I mean, that's ridiculous. Them out there that long, you know what I'm saying? With the military that we have, that should not be. But yeah, that's crazy. And but I'm gonna say this. I'm switching reels like Big Cuz says. We switching gears real fast. One time, me, Floyd X, and Big Cuz, we was on a cruise, and we was looking at that water, and we was like, how long could you survive if you jumped over right the fuck now? See, all three of us was in the Navy, so we know we could jump over and land correctly. You know what I'm saying? Then, how long can you survive in this water? Because that ship ain't turning back. You got to wait for help. I said myself, I think I get like 10 to 12 hours. Depends on hypothermia and that and stuff. So basically what I'm saying is, teach your kids how to swim.
That's cool.
God damn it!
Yeah. You know what? I say comment, but let me for saving time, let's flip over to this Natalie Harp situation.
Wait, hold up! I can't say nothing.
You sure can. Go ahead, brother. Oh, you know what? I want to say the Student X didn't get to speak on this, so I'm glad that you get your opportunity to address this. My apologies, brother. Go ahead.
No, like I reviewed the notes, from I didn't watch the show, but I put the transcript, through the notes and I studied everything, and Brother Floyd and Brother Walk, and I held it down, and then I saw some of those weak ass arguments that Afro was making on the show. You know what I mean? It's like, look, y'all, this right here, is real. It was something that was not made up. It was not what you call it, Iranian propaganda. It was straight up legit. And one of the things that the brothers didn't cover is that a lot of times people don't understand that, you know, in the military, especially when you have these long deployments, you know, families suffer, you know, and there's a lot of divorces, you know, that happen. There's infidelity and whatnot. You know, you're gone away for a long time. So there's a lot of stress and pressure, you know, that these men are under. A lot of times, sometimes they have to have their families go live with their families while they go. You know what I mean? You know, so there's all type of pressures. But, you know, to suggest that someone jumping out at sea in the middle of sea, you know what I mean, was doing anything other than trying to end their life.
With a life jacket on.
They wasn't taking the backstroke, you know, because, you know, like the brothers say, you know, when you jump in that ocean, depending on the ocean you're jumping into, you know, the temperatures, I mean, bro, you may not be able to survive that long. You know, of course, there's wildlife that's out there, and not knowing how to swim, you know, is something that, you know, that, you know, you don't know how to swim, you're really in trouble. You see what I'm saying? So, no, this thing speaks more to, I would say, the administration's, man, just terrible job that they're doing across the board and managing this. I mean, it's crazy because if I had to do the election all over again, this is breaking news, right? We had to do the election all over again. I would actually vote for Trump. I mean, seeing all the damn damage he's doing, you know what I mean, what I'm saying, empire. Because if you look at the position right now, the United States abroad to the world, man, the last thing we should be considering is trying to drop a nuke on anybody and using nuclear weapons, because the world already hate America, something fierce, something fierce right now, and they're blaming this whole situation, and it's going to get a whole lot worse on this Trump administration. And the truth of the matter is, it was going to happen like this regardless who was in office. I don't understand why you guys can understand that the fall of America was already happening. It was just who was going to manage that fall. And I didn't want to have a black face at all associated with that, because I understand that whoever they put in front of us is
black now.
Ultimately not in control. Again, I know I'm not going to get any rewards from the NJBD or whatever they call themselves. I understand that. I might get 4 thumbs down for my takes, but the bottom line is that, this situation is some serious mismanagement. And then his comments, Trump's comments after, I mean, he's literally, right now, we have never been in a higher potential of nuclear exchangement between nations, whether it be America and Russia or Iran and Israel, whatever it might be. But right now, the nuclear weapons seem imminent that they're going to be deployed and used at some point in the near future, maybe by the United States, because, Trump doesn't have any answers. And this cat, he's the ultimate authority on whether they get used or not. There's people that oppose it, but this thing is turning into something bigger than just merely, our sailors being mistreated. This is showing mismanagement across every sector, the economy, both here and abroad. There's some serious headwinds coming. I hope
shout out to Japan. I hope they could find their way out of the water. They too much in the bed with America, and they drowning right now because they tied into America so much.
Man.
Infamous El Poo.
Well, of course, there's a whole lot of mismanagement going on when you're taking orders from your enemy, like Putin.
Ooh.
So this is what happens. And
the mic
I
is
don't
a
think
little
America
low.
will be falling. My mic is low. Oh well,
I don't
think America would be falling as fast as it is right now if we wasn't under the leadership of Trump right now, and his whole staff and everything. But America is on the brink, and it's falling off, and Trump is just pushing his way away. He's managing it just like he manages his casinos, pushing us right into bankruptcy. And you know what? Iran said, you know what? We ain't worried about you. You know what I'm saying? Because we know what you're doing to your country, so we're not worried about what you're going to do to us.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like, what's the point of us doing something? We still self-destruct. So exactly, yeah. So let's speak on this Natalie Hart situation. You had some hilarious little posts on there, Mr. Infamous El Poo. Suffice it to say, this is one of Trump's aide, a very loving aide, very committed aide. I mean, this person is blindly loyal to the extent that even her brother is saying that she has an unhealthy infatuation with Trump. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with you surrounding yourself people that work towards your agenda. But when we say that, he puts yes men around him, this is something different. This is a whole nother level of yes. So she just basically is almost sucking on the teat of the religion of Trump. And there's some letters that got out there that are definitely very creepy. But I will say this, in reading the second letter, one thing that she mentions is that, she lost her father, and that, now that Trump, I really didn't feel it was creepy in the sense of like trying to hook up with Trump, but really like a more father figure vibe. So I want to give her that little slither of credit, you know what I'm saying? That a lot of people put it out there like she's just being some like creepy person trying to hook up with the old man. But I really think that she just, she lost her father, and Trump is like a really good father surrogate to her, and kind of that's where that connection is. So, that's all I got to say about that. Infamous Elpu, what you got to say about this?
I wish we had. Well, we do have a picture. I think he likes her because she looks just like his daughter.
Who, man?
This is inappropriate. If it was on the Democrat side, the Republicans and everybody else would be having a big old uproar about this. It's a national security threat, and it looks terrible. You know what I'm saying? And where's the first lady? I mean, I know she came out and said something a couple of days ago or something like that, but
holding hands. They got this whole thing, got her walking around holding hands with him.
She know what's up.
So you got something to say about this student X?
Yeah, for sure. Don't let the salacious angle, bury the real question, which is, how does someone reportedly operating this close to the president and serving as like an information gatekeeper was working so long without a normal security clearance? Yep. Wow. You know what I mean? I mean, that's crazy in and of itself. And so what this looks like to me is she's a honeypot. Is she Jewish? I just had a question. I just had a curiosity. Is she Israeli? Any Israeli connection? Or Israeli Jew? I don't know. You know what I mean? But Lewinsky, we know what she was. We know what her role was. You see what I'm saying? But this is extremely weird. And the fact that these letters got out and everything. This is it doesn't shock me. You know what I mean? And we are talking about who I believe is a pedophile. I think Trump's a pedophile. I think he's part of the Epstein class. He with him. I didn't believe that, as much before, but basically how he been rolling, this whole term, I absolutely believe that, he always was one of them, and then hell, here we are. So yeah, this is weird. This Harp lady, I want to dig deeper into her and find out what's going on with this.
Wow. Mr. Twidex?
I don't have nothing to say about that. Let me take a minute to recognize and honor Black excellence. We haven't done this in a while, but I was just doing my research this morning. I came across our sister Angel Reese, first to make history in the WNBA player ever with 20 plus points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. So salute to that sister making history in the WNBA.
Without a miss. Salute to her.
All right. Now, let's just jump to the Earn Your Leisure, man. Let me talk about these brothers.
Go ahead.
All right. So, look. Bilal Rashad, Ian Dunlap, and Troy, I forget your last name. What a great show y'all had, and I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I made some money following y'all recommendations and paying attention to what was going on in the stock market. I really appreciated y'all, and I felt like, man, this is some good stuff for Black people. So for you, Bilal Rashad, to come out and say you done with Black people, and I wasn't on that Black tip anyway, y'all put that label on me, was very disheartening and disappointed. I'm very disappointed in you, and I feel like you moving on. Y'all get big head. It's just the same Hollywood rich person, the rich nigga syndrome. I'm trying to stop saying the N-word. The rich person syndrome. You jump, and then the people that you built on their back, you act like you don't need them, or forget them. They begging, they want free tickets to come to our 30,000 people came to your Invest Fest, a great thing. I wanted to go. I was about to spend $5,000 one year to go. I said I want the premium package. I want to go ride this ship. And now I'm looking at it like, man, they just rolled the black people back, and now they talking about, or at least it's just you, because I didn't hear Ian didn't say that, and I didn't hear Troy. I'm just looking at you, Bilal. Disrespectful. You owe the black people an apology, and I knew that something was wrong when you came out into that Invest Fest with some silk pajamas on, showing off your wealth. That's when I said, oh, this ship is about to sink. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't step out. I don't like people in do rags and things.
Bonnets.
So why would bonnets? So why would a brother come out on stage in front of a bunch of people in silk pajamas? You not P Diddy, nigga. I mean, sir, you not. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, you'll come out and give an apology, and y'all can get back on track. And stay black, brother. Stay black. That's a black show. Y'all went to Atlanta to do the Invest. Y'all from New York, but y'all do Invest Fest in Atlanta, the mecca for black. You're not for black people? Come on, brother. You're lying. You're full of shit. You're full of shit, and it's pissing me off. Fix yourself, Bilal Rashad.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Stephen A. But anyway, so you got something to say about this Student X?
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't know really anything about it, and I'm still learning, some things about it. But my understanding was essentially that there was some sort of feud. I don't know if that's what Brother Floyd was just, describing, but the bigger issue was that they have this event that they've been doing in Atlanta, and then the city itself, did not, wasn't sufficiently supporting that event. And the gentleman, and that their group was very upset about that, and so, and because they're saying that they're drawing 20 to 25,000 people per day attend, and that more than half are reportedly coming from the Metro Atlanta area, so. There was a big concern that with being able to draw that type of crowd, then why is the city not supporting them more? And so then there's a threat to take it from Atlanta and go somewhere else with it, And so I think that the real question is just looking at, that with a black-owned event that attracts tens of thousands of people and generates substantial tourism, hotel, restaurant, commercial activity, should the whole city treat it like a major economic development asset? And that doesn't appear to seem what Atlanta is doing. And so now, if we dig deeper and look at another question is, would the same comparable economic impact from another type of ownership or demographic, we receive greater public investment, sponsorship, and institutional support? So I don't know if that's coming into focus, with the organization. Earning Leisure, I did see, several of their shows. I thought it was informative and good from the ones I saw, but yeah. So like I said, I'm learning about the situation. I don't know everything about it, but there's definitely some questions that are there about what's going on in Atlanta. And truth be told, I spent a lot of time in Atlanta. I was in and out of Atlanta, on a regular basis. I see the development, and I saw all type of other type of stuff. We won't go into that.
You don't want to go into seeing brothers walking around in high heels?
Oh no, brother! Like I never. So when it comes to like overt homosexuality, these were the most aggressive gays that I've ever seen. Anywhere. I'm talking about. Like, it was wild, bro. Catch jumping in your car, slide, it was wild. It's like, man, these guys don't play out here. And then the homeless population, since there's, is a lot of brothers, some strong country fed brothers, man, the homeless population, bro, it looks like they're in prison. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my God, bro, there's like strong ass men just walking around here with no home, no money. It's like, man, maybe people should figure out something to do with this, you know what I'm saying? Because it might cause some problems. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it is wild out there, bro. So like I said, I don't know what's going on out there in Atlanta, and why an event like this that has been so positive for the city, you know, and the impact has been, you know, measurable, you know, why they're not supporting it, you know what I mean? And does that have anything to do with the brothers' frustration, you know, with, you know, the black community? You know what I'm saying?
Salute to LeBron Trucker. He functions out of Atlanta. But also, when you brought up the mayor and Killer Mike, he got a new podcast with Teslin Figaro, that sister, and they spoke on the situation too. And I believe he said the mayor is just a phone call away. If you got an issue, you could have called the mayor and talked to him about it instead of.
He was on stage with him, is my understanding. You know, in 2026 festival. You know, so they've been in communication. You know, for sure.
The issue was that they went to New York radio, went to the Breakfast Club, and spoke negative about Atlanta. That's where they felt the mayor of Atlanta felt disrespected. Like I didn't even know the part you said they was on stage together, but it should have been a support thing. And you know, most cities do that, right? They support conventions and shit like that. So you know, what was different?
I mean, I can tell you right now, just you know, dealing in business is like you know, if you were if you're trying to make that brand as valuable and attractive to investors as possible. I mean, I hate to say it, there's no other way to say it, but you're not building around attracting a bunch of black people. To that brand, in terms of being a face and the buy, that's not what, you're doing. You just in general, for whatever the reasons are, that's the reality of the situation, so I don't know, if and now, they're seeing that there's a whole lot of that, bro. This whole country is struggling, white, black, brown, everybody. And what InvestFest was doing was something bigger than just, they were focused in the black community initially, but they were dealing with investing, entrepreneurship, real estate, taxes, cryptocurrency, AI, estate planning, financial literacy, entertainment culture. They had different vendor opportunities. It's a serious event, and done well.
Business bridge from Africa. They went to Africa. I believe they bought some property in Africa, and they working with manufacturers in Africa to have stuff here. So that's why I'm not going to knock them down, because they do this. The stuff that they proclaim to be doing sounds amazing, and they look intelligent, and the proof is in this InvestFest and the things that they have done that I've seen them do. I believe that it's a good business, and I know if they don't want to limit it to the black people, I get it, I understand, but don't turn your back on the people that helped you build it, because your whole point, it was a black.
Don't do that.
You know what I'm saying? So
acknowledge it.
That's what I'm saying about it. I want to see it grow and be more successful, but don't lose your black roots.
You got something to say about this, El Poo?
No, but I just got a phone call from Puffy. He got a message out there for Keefy D. He said,
take that.
You know what? Let's talk about Gary, Indiana, right quick. They're going on through some crazy stuff. 2 weeks. No
you said Gary, Indiana?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's going on with it?
They had a thunderstorm or something, and the power went out. And they've been going on 11 days. People are on TikTok complaining, saying, "Man, well, how loud do we gotta get before somebody recognized the magnitude of the problem?" And I heard from, I believe El Poo said that people are leaving the city or leaving there because it's like it's the blackout. I'm not gonna stay nowhere dark for 10 days.
Stone Age at that point. I mean, that's what I saw. A shout out to Greasy Hands, a comedian that I followed, that he was sitting there talking about. I didn't know he was talking about. When he's talking about people leaving Gary, Indiana. But then I was hearing all this stuff, and it's like, why aren't they getting that emergency support? And it's probably coming back to politics.
Yeah. Oh, but it definitely coming. Look, are they run by Republicans?
Well, these are, as far as I know, this area is particularly like, it seemed like the people that he was reporting on was black.
Yeah, it's a joke, brother. It's all black. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know.
My point is, man, like, if we not focus on the right things in these type of situations, I'm always talking about, man, there's all type of headwinds that we have coming right now, man. And man, I can't even explain. You got to get prepared, for hard times, having food, having your power needs taken care of, defense, medical. There's a lot of things you need to do. And so. Right now, this is the hour, but, you can't rely on your government to do anything for you. I'm telling you that right now, that should be apparent in a lot of ways, so, just, it doesn't mean don't hold them accountable. If ever was here, I know he would be like, oh, well, yes, I agree, brother.
I got to do the voice.
hey, I agree, brother. We got
to come on the show, Afro.
Just straight up, in the meantime, I'm saying, don't rely on them, yet hold them accountable. That's where we could go here and meet in the middle.
Hey, I know it's not their responsibility, but the Jacksons came from Gary, Indiana. Come on, man. Hey, step up a little bit for your hometown. That's
how much money they got left?
That's what
well, I guess this movie did pretty well, but I don't know.
For $1 billion, so come on now.
I don't know how much they're getting it, but I hear what you're saying. So honestly, everybody should be talking about it. I shouldn't have I've been hearing about this for over a week just from his Facebook post. That's it. I didn't get anything else till Greasy Hand. You just wanted me to say it again because I got in trouble for saying somebody's government name on the show a few weeks ago. So if you got a moniker, I will use your moniker on Facebook, but I'm not going to use your name. But you know what? So word up, Slick. I can say Slick. I'm sure that's not his mama ain't named him Slick. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, shout out to that brother. So that having been said, is there anything else you like to speak about? Anybody that want to speak out before we leave?
I mean, if you guys feel like it, there's some things going on here right now inside of this the war front, and the fact of the matter is that I know
somebody student, if somebody has to go, you got to go. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, for sure. The main thing is that the numbers are central right now, and that is Russia is crushing Ukraine. And that whole conflict is coming to a rapid conclusion. Probably pretty soon because their government is not going to withstand. You're talking about being without power. These cats is after that last wave where they were supported by the West and attacked Wildberries, which is like the Russian equivalent of Amazon. Again, which is not military targets, it's civilian, the Ukrainians, with the help of America and their allies, attack, these facilities. After that, Mr. Putin, was like, okay, look, it's time to shut this down. And
when you say pretty soon, what do you talk about specifically? I'm gonna let you go. I want to know what you're talking about. I'm not gonna hold you to it. I ain't gonna bet you. You already gonna make some money off a walk. But I'm just saying, when you say pretty soon, when do you think that this war is going to conclude? What does pretty soon mean to you? I'm not holding you
in regards to what now?
You said that the Ukraine-Russia war is. I didn't mean to disrupt you this much. I'm saying
before you're talking about before. When we come into winter here, within the next 6 months, I'm anticipating it now. Now it doesn't mean that just because I'm throwing out a number,
I'm not
it doesn't mean anything because Russia has showed that they are going to be very patient, very methodical. They're in control. They're not taking the losses that you're hearing from the Trump administration in America at all. It is totally the opposite way around, where it's at least 10-1. To where Ukrainians are dying. On these battlefields. Left and right. Right now, Kyiv and pretty much all Ukraine is going to be without power, without heat. Without food. They have no access to the sea right now at all. They're almost completely surrounded. And at the meantime, Europe is getting mad. And so that they're taking a more aggressive approach. And Putin has outright told them, like, look, we're going to hit your motherfucking ass. We keep fucking around. They told him straight out, not exactly like that, but I'm telling you, the language he used was not derogatory, using curse words, but in terms of diplomacy, it had the same impact and same effect. They're saying that they need to go ahead and reestablish, these red lines, that have been completely broken down in this situation. They need to go ahead and have these deterrents are properly set, and they're willing to go ahead and take this further if need be. Meantime, on the Iran front, is Iran is dug in, people. You can nuke Iran and it will not stop their second strike capability, which may or may not include a nuclear capability. They never wanted nuclear weapons. The only rationale and reason for them to even develop one now is not personal defense, because if they develop it and told the world that they were developing, then the world as well as America would feel they had justification to come and start, annihilating an entire people, dropping nukes all over that country. So they're not moving like that. But what they showed us was they had the ability to enrich to that 65+%, which means they could go all the way to 90. And they clearly showed that they could protect their missiles, their boats, and their military capabilities. Clearly, they have facilities to where they can put together, fissile material, to develop a nuclear weapon and have at least 20 plus to throw back at their enemies. But again, that's not their focus. They're beating that ass with conventional weapons. So the real question is going to be, what does the American people, allow for their government to do, moving forward? Because this economy in the world is already going to be, drastically impacted by, what has taken place so far. The question now is, can this thing be, ramped down? Trump has had plenty of off ramps. He's claiming he won and they're totally defeated. So he could walk away right now if he wanted. But, I suspect further strikes will continue, and that Iran will actually use more advanced weaponry that they have not used to date, and that they will step up their attacks and be more offensive in nature, which is going to, again, increase the likelihood of more bad things happening, which I define as nuclear weapons being deployed. So that's all I had to say, is I'm always going to stress preparedness, getting ready, having, different plans and scenarios for different scenarios. There's some rough times coming ahead.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
Go ahead,
let me just say one more thing. If you don't like what's going on, the least you can do is get yourself out there and vote. Your vote does matter. If it didn't, they wouldn't be trying to take it away from you. So please get out there and at least vote. That's all I got to say.
One that's trying to take it away from you is that Donald J. Dump. That Save America Act. That's an attempt to steal the vote. He's in talk. He's trying to plot and plan how he can use this war to be a wartime to prevent votes from happening and to prevent something from going on. He's trying to figure this shit out. He needs you to not vote. And then also,
I'm gonna go the opposite way with y'all, bros. Right now, we're not voting our way out of this at all. Because if anything has been showed, is that if Trump can turn on his base, which is arguably the most, powerful base, that we had ever saw, coming into these the last few elections, in a lot of different ways, could just outright burn them, completely go back on what he said he was going to do. That should tell you that all these candidates, are capable of that, and in fact have done that. And that's where the people who don't vote, that's why they tell you why they don't vote, is because they always back down on things anyway. But, these presidents are not running this country. They're only there for 4, maybe 8 years. They're not running the country. There's something behind the curtain. That's what the
all on the same side. They all on the same side.
They all on the same side. This is a show, TV show. So it don't matter if you could have Kamala there. The only difference was then people would have been hella mad at black people. At the end of the day, hella mad at black people because they'd be saying, what this black people have a whole lot more jobs is doing to the country and this and that. Nah, I don't want that to be the case. At all. It's already gonna be hard enough on us as it is, what I'm saying? So
we're gonna have to talk about Hakeem Jeffries and his statement about he don't want free Medicare for nobody and things of that nature. They are on the same page and they are aligned up with the Republicans, and it's getting dangerous. I agree when the brothers say that we are not going to vote I'll way out of this.
$40 trillion in debt and growing.
And like El Pooh said, if voting didn't matter, they wouldn't be working so hard. The bottom line is you can chew bubble gum and walk. Do every tool that's in your tool shed, take advantage of it. That's what I'm gonna say. Prepare, do all that stuff, but vote too.
But it matters like this. It's like, let me give you an example. So it's like if I'm growing some plants and I have an indoor grow I'm doing, I have to have the light, I have to have the temperature right, I have to have the soil and medium right. You know, I have to make sure it's being fed right. If I don't do any one of those things, the plant dies, or at least the plant growth is stunted. You see what I'm saying? And so the thing when we talk about voting is this voting don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything at all if there's not something else we're doing, which is first of all pulling constituents.
Why did you say that you were voting? Why did
candidates that represent truly the people, and then being able to hold them accountable? Because what happens is when even if they are that, once they get into this system, there's something that's in opposition to them. And until the American people realize we're gonna have to deal with what's in opposition to them, you know, in order to have them serve us, the American people, then we're gonna be in the same boat again and again.
You're right.
You know, so it's going to take you something. That's why I don't argue against the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment, the number one reason for that is to prevent tyranny. And when you start having flat cameras being put in all around the world, the country, and there's no vote on it by American citizens, I can cite all type of examples. You know, that's an example of tyranny.
Hey, real quick,
how much is enough?
Real quick, let's hear what El Pooh got to say.
I agree with you 100%, but one element of that is you still have to vote. That's still one part of the other element, right? Everything else you have to do also, but still voting is very important too. If you don't vote, then all the other stuff goes out the window too, right?
So right now, I would argue that no, if you don't do those other things and not being done simultaneously, then what your vote is being used to do is give credibility to the system. It's not credible when we have Donald Trump and Kamala Harris as damn options, you know, for us to vote for. That's not that right there. You know, you can stop right there. You know, that already disqualified the whole system. No one wanted any of those damn clowns at all to be their candidates. You know, at the end of the day, especially now. Now, Trump, people were happy with Trump until now they see what ultimately he was. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, no, man, you know, I don't want all of them, whether they left, right, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we need there's something that they come into opposition to when they get in power, you know, to where they could take shots at presidents, where they could kill, you know, influential leaders within political parties like Charlie, you know what I mean? You know, there's something else that's there, you know, and until the American people deal with that, we have a problem.
All right.
So that having been said, like, share, subscribe. I'm sorry, the echo thing threw me off. But were you about to say something, Mr. Floyd X?
I wanted to ask Student X, who do you think won that debate, Candace Owen and that the white guy?
Oh, that's a good one.
Hands down, I watched the whole thing, and then I went and did the transcript. You know, studied the transcript to see if anything I missed and whatnot. Right. I mean, I already knew who was going to win from the get-go. It's pretty obvious because, you know, first of all, he paid $300,000 to ultimately get humiliated. You know, so I hope it was worth it.
That money. They say Turning Point paid that money. They said
I mean, they probably did, but that showed you again. Look at how whack that is. You know, how come it couldn't have been Charlie Kirk's wife, you know, to come up there and debate Candace? You know what I'm saying? You know, it would have represented something. But I'm telling you right now, that man, Charlie Kirk, you know, he wasn't my friend. You know, but I didn't have anything against him per se. I'm sure there's plenty of things he said I didn't agree with, you know, but the bottom line is his death and killing is relevant. And it's something that was absolutely impactful to all our lives in America. I don't care if you're black, white, Mexican. The fact that how that man was killed, how he was killed, and all the questions that are surrounding it right now. And there are influential and powerful people that love that man. And we still, you know, there's a whole lot, you know, that's left, you know, that needs to be answered for. It should tell you everything that we need to know, that this country has fallen. And if you all have to recognize
that was a whole lot to not answer about the actual debate. Could you?
Candace won, bro. Come on, man.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
destroy dude.
There was a lot of
Destroy dude. It's not even. It was
okay.
Like I said, bro.
It's we got you. We hear what you said, Mr. Floyd X. What did you think?
I don't think she won. I think that they both was not fully informed. She was more informed, but her being challenged on the points that she make on her show every week, it was harder to be more realistic. It's good to have that opposing voice to make you be like, man, well, it is just conjecture what she pretty much does on the show. She don't have factual information in the sense of it was who did it or whatever. So I was like,
she says 0 chance. That's not a person that's speculating anymore. That's a person that's not even considering any possibilities or something. That's like a conclusion. She can dance and say that it's just my opinion. Yeah. No, when you say
there's zero chance that dude that they have on trial right now, Tyler Robinson, actually pulled the trigger and given the narrative, there's 0% chance that happened. Like they said, 0% chance. Now, not that he could have been involved. I'm not saying he wasn't involved. I think that somehow, some way. There's some way he was involved in this, but man, the picture when they show me dude jumping off the 3-story building to the ground, man, look, like I went to go try that. Do it. I can do it. I got it next. I climbed over that joint and I started looking down. And I was like, oh hell no!
No, wait, no.
Student X.
Like bam, like that, and walked away, bro. Come on, man.
Go ahead, nice guy. Go ahead.
What if that video was fake and that wasn't a video of the actual shooter?
Is he frozen?
I'm just asking. I said, what if that video was fake and was not a video of the actual shooter?
I mean, could
it be? I'm saying, could that be the case? Could it be fake video?
What I'm saying is, maybe it could be. Maybe it could be. And it looked like the same.
Once you do that, you have to start. You have to go. A rational person can't start off 0.
I think it was the most clear one that we saw, because the only thing that we saw in the preliminary was like these fuzzy pictures and whatnot. They're like, oh look, there he is. That's him there.
We saw text, but you didn't accept the text, but you accepted the video.
We did see the text. It looked like it was ChatGPT wrote it. I seen that text too. You know what I mean? And then it most surely hasn't been. And then the fact that we know that technology, bro, it's so easy to speak on technology. So come on.
Mr. Nice Guy, who won the debate?
That dude fucking cooked her ass. Now, he made some dumbass arguments. She cooked him at parts later, like on some things, because he was definitely being childish about some things. I mean, like the whole, like the phone thing, you know what I'm saying? It's like, once you say I show it to you, you should concede. Don't even don't continue asking for it. It's only going to look worse. There was another situation where he's like going on about, like, oh, you said something. She's like, I admit it. I didn't have the information. I was wrong in that. You're still fact checking what you said. It's just like the whole thing that you were complaining about the twit thing. And that was a dumbass argument that she made. It's like, he's saying that the evidence is overwhelming, not necessarily the fact that the video, this one particular thing was overwhelming. I would say that the evidence is overwhelming, that he's likely the guy. But you know what? Just because that evidence may suggest that, don't mean the evidence is true. If the evidence is completely fabricated, it does not follow to what the actual thing is. So again, I'm not discrediting what Student X is saying. I'm not necessarily discrediting what Candace Owen believes or whatever. But I'm just saying that her logical efforts to get there are absolutely unhinged. You know what I'm saying?
What I said is I don't agree with everything that she says. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying I'm just going back to the key question is. Is the government's narrative, from what we're hearing right now, the defense's narrative, not defense, but the prosecution's narrative of how Charlie was killed and that this was the man who did it, is that something, that is a case closed, and we know he did that, and that question is clearly no. It's clearly no. It's too much information, bro. Like I said, I stand by what I said before, is he is going to walk. If he lives, he's going to walk. You know, I don't believe he's gonna get convicted.
Once that debate goes, I'm glad that they had it because it did like show that there's not just one side. When you watch her show, if you just watch her show, you could fall in and be lulled to sleep, believing everything or most of it was coming out. So for somebody to challenge it, I think that was a good debate on it, so you could come back or get snapped back to reality and be like, wait a minute, maybe that might be true to a point, and this might be true to a point. And you know, it helps give you some balance. But real quick, the brother of the Liberty Twitchers said what's important is what he did with the bond, the treasury bond. That is information that needs to be put out there that Japan was falling and that they were going to sell the treasury bonds. I think it's like $1 trillion in treasury bonds that they have, U.S. treasury bonds. So Bessett, the secretary, what is he, the Secretary of Finance or what's his title?
No, he's the National Secretary of something, you know, the Commerce. He's dealing with the Commerce for sure, though. I can forget the actual title.
So he took like trillions or like billions of dollars in euro and bought the treasury bonds or helped.
Secretary of Treasury.
All right, so Secretary of Treasury took billions of bonds or euros. He didn't use the U.S. dollar. So in the end, the U.S. dollar is going to crumble and it's going to fall, collapse under all this shit that's going on.
So I didn't see Liberty Twitcher's tweet.
I just put it up there.
What did he say?
I just put it up there. So Scott says bond decision is what's important now. Yet people are occupied with silly Charlie Kirk conspiracy. First of all, hey, Liberty Twitcher, I appreciate every one of your comments. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily agree or disagree with everything. Trust me. I'm just saying, but I really appreciate your comments all the time. I always think you lend value, information, and insight to. So I'm just
he does. And then also, since he is one of the viewers,
I don't know if it's a he or she. So Liberty Twitcher,
he or she, because that they always contribute like they do on the show, then it just goes to show that there are some more topics that we could dip into, because I would love to get into the bond market and talk about those things, but they're always on me like, oh man, the people that watch this show don't want to be hearing all this. You know what I mean? You know, but on that point,
that's literally your point.
That's
literally your role on this show, to supply that type of
come on, man. You know, I'm just trying to be funny, bro.
Who said that to you?
He said he funny.
But
we messing up your jokes. I messed up 2 of your jokes. My bad.
Yeah. Come on, man. You know,
I did what Walk always says I do, so my bad.
Yeah. No, because clearly we talk about the stuff. You know what I mean? But the going back to what he was talking about with those bonds is that what people understand what Bessett's role is right now. What he is doing is this is all about currency manipulation and market manipulation. Because literally, I tell you guys, the fall of America is underway. And so there's different things that are being turned off, and being shut down, and these billionaires are trying to make sure that they have a soft landing.
Where are the regulators? Who's supposed to regulate this shit? Be like, hey, none of these Congress people or congressmen or women coming out saying this ain't right. What the hell are you doing?
Did they just tell you how Democrats aren't shit? Because the thing is that how come they haven't impeached Trump yet? Of all this whole war is an impeachable offense.
They don't.
They don't have the power right now.
They don't have the power. If they don't have the power, it'll be a circus, because the Republicans will 100% get behind Trump. They will not allow it.
Yep.
He's literally coming out to tell them. He goes, look, if you don't vote such and such, I'm going to get impeached. So they go, well, damn, we think you're a total fucking asshole, but we still gotta, we like your asshole better than their asshole. Pause.
Hey, he's impacting the country, bro. Because right now, Canada has some of the diesel that we need, and instead of them selling it to America, they say they can't stand this motherfucker Trump. So that they've been selling it to China. And they're right here in this hemisphere. So I'm telling you where America goes from here is that she is going to back up out of all of the rest of the world and then come into this hemisphere and then dominate and assert control throughout all of North America. That's ultimately what you can do. And people's going to have their sectors. They're going to have their sphere of influence. America's going to be right here in Americas, where they're going to say, and they're going to agree with other nations that, hey, look, you stay in your part of the lane, we'll stay in our part, we'll control this. You can't come over here, we won't go over there. So you can't have partnerships with our people that we control and whatnot. That's how they're trying to shape this thing up to right now. and it's wild, but like I said, I think this is going to end up in a lot of destruction, ultimately, because, we are dealing with someone, who I don't think is fully all there right now. We were talking about Joe, not being there, but I think that we can agree on something. Right. You know what I'm saying? I think he has at least, early onset dementia is what we're dealing with.
So Mr. Nice Guy is cooking in this shed right here. You know what I'm saying? So that having been said, we appreciate you guys for tapping in with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Liberty Twitchers, salute to you again. Everybody, honestly,
all of y'all.
Yeah, all of y'all. So again, please comment, like, subscribe, share, and if you got some input, we here for it. So that having been said, thank you for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you everybody on the panel. Peace out.